Hi, friends. Welcome to Operation Remote Resilience. My name is Kelly Campbell. I am a certified Warriors at Ease yoga teacher, and today I will be guiding you through a 30-minute restorative yoga practice. For restorative yoga, as you can tell by my pile beside me, we will be utilizing props to help support our bodies that will allow us to make more space for ease, rest, that can translate to potentially decreasing stress, improving sleep, all of the things that I know that every single one of us could use a little bit more of. I raise my hand because I'm thinking of myself when I say this too. I'm going to go over the items I have next to me. Feel free to utilize exactly as I have. If you do not have yoga props available, you can always utilize the things within your space, such as pillows. You can use blankets, towels, cushions from chairs or couches, and anything else that you think may be utilized in a similar fashion to these props. I've got next to me a blanket. I have an eye pillow, which is quite nice during a final relaxation to place over the forehead and eyes. If you don't have an eye pillow, a washcloth works quite well also. 2 yoga blocks, and then I have 2 larger bolsters here. Again, if you don't have access to these specific items, you can always utilize what's within your surroundings. Additionally, yoga mat is optional. If you don't have a yoga mat, you can take a towel and lay that out, or perhaps practice on a softer surface such as a carpeted area or an area rug, something to give your body a bit more support, especially because floors can be rather hard sometimes. Before we get into our practice, let me express my deepest gratitude that you've decided to share your time with me, as time is one of our most valuable resources. If you feel compelled, consider subscribing to the Warriors at Ease YouTube channel. This allows you to stay up to date on all the videos and offerings going on. With that being said, let us begin our practice. We're going to start first by lying all the way down on the ground. If you have props, you can just push them off to the side, just so you've got a bit more space to move around. I'm going to rotate my body as to lay all the way down on my yoga mat. Extend the legs long. From here, reach the hands overhead. And this may call for some additional adjustment to the body based on what type of surface or area that you're practicing on. From our hands overhead, we now work the hands and feet towards the same side. If you were to view your body from above, it would take a shape of a banana or perhaps a crescent moon. Only to the point that feels best for you. If you notice sensations of pain or discomfort anywhere along the body, you can slowly work your way back towards center. Soften the jaws. Peel the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Notice the breath as it enters and exits the body. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the ceiling. For a restorative yoga practice, we move very slowly and intentionally, hanging out in shapes for a longer duration. 2 more rounds of breath. After your second round of breath, inhale, make your way back to center. Exhale at the top. We work towards the other side. Gently bring the hands and feet towards the same side, only to the location that feels best for you. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the ceiling. Bring your awareness back to your breath. No need to change it. Just notice it as it travels in and out of the body. Couple more unhurried rounds of breath here. Inhale, work back to center with the hands and feet. Exhale when you arrive. With the help of your hands, slowly bring both knees in towards the chest. Utilize the hands to give them a slow squeeze inward as you rock or roll. Hand placement is personal preference. You can come behind the legs where the hamstrings are located, or in front of the legs where the knees and the shins are at. Rock and roll. Return to center. From here, we're going to take a twist of the lower body. But before we do, reach for any props you may think you will like to utilize. And I know for myself, I'm going to reach for one of these larger bolsters and just place it close by so it's ready to go. Now I've got knees in towards the chest, but I'm going to bring them slightly away from the body. So now we have a more 90-degree angle of the hip space. Same thing with the lower legs. I'm going to lift the feet just a bit. So now I've got that 90-90 position of the knees and the hips. From here, rotate the lower body. Doesn't matter which side you begin in first because we are going to do both. I've got my limbs zipped in together. So full connection from my ankles all the way up the legs. I've got that larger bolster here, so my limbs have a location to land both through the thighs and down through the calves in the feet. So feel free to set yourself up in a similar fashion. Or if you're like, no, I would prefer more sensation, you can always remove your props and bring the limbs down to touch the ground beneath you. Hand placement is personal preference. If you really enjoy the sensation that we had taken earlier with the hands overhead, you can take that option, or bring arms to 90-90. And now if you come with hands overhead or that 90-90 position of the shoulders and elbows and you're like, whoo, I don't think so, Kelly, not today. Guess what? You just take it out. You can bring your hands towards the body or allow them to be off to the sides of the floor. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the ceiling as we allow the sensations to unfold. With the sense of curiosity, explore what you may notice, both from the loud and obvious down to the soft and subtle. You would like an additional layer of connection to the breath. You can place one hand over the heart, the other over the belly, and just notice the rise and fall of the chest, rib cage, and abdomen as you inhale and exhale. Three more slow rounds of breath on your own here. After your third round of breath, with control, work the legs back towards center. And I emphasized with control because it is very easy to fling the body around, right? From one shape to another, one location to another, without much intention or thought behind it. But with our restorative practice, by moving slower, that allows us that additional connection of like, ooh, what do I feel? What type of engagement do I notice within the physical body as I rotate, sit up, roll, all the other motions that take place within the body? Now we're going to set up for the other side. If you utilized a prop, feel free to bring it to the other side of the body. Don't take curtains with you. And check in with the lower limbs. I've got a 90-degree angle of the hip space and additionally a 90-degree angle of the knees. Everything zipped into center, connection of the lower limbs. Then with control, again, highly emphasize the control. Rotate the lower body towards the other side. Now you can observe a bit better on this side for my body that this larger prop is supporting the entire lower limb for me. I've got it partially placed underneath the hip space. It's encapsulating the knee. I've got the calves and I've also got my feet landed to it, which for me feels quite nourishing and supportive. And by providing my body with that nourishment and support, I notice I can find more space for ease and relaxation. I don't know if I would say that if my feet were dangling off the edge or I was forcing my lower limbs to touch the floor beneath me. I don't know if I would find as much rest. So feel free to play with that and give yourself permission to move into a space that does feel supporting and nourishing. And if that means including more props, if that means not as much range of motion or rotation in the body, give yourself that permission. You've got nothing to prove. Eyes can be opened or closed towards the ceiling. Any variation of arms or hand placement that you desire. We allow the sensations to unfold. What do you feel? What do you notice? From the loud and obvious of the experience down to the soft and subtle. Always an option to bring the hands towards the body and rest them along the chest or trunk for additional awareness and connection to the breath. Take 3 more unhurried rounds of breath here. After your 3rd round of breath, mindfully rotate the lower body back towards center. Can always utilize the hands too for some additional support. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Utilize the hands to give them a slow squeeze inward as you rock or roll. Return to center. Cross one ankle over the other. Doesn't matter which one. Begin to rock and roll your way forward and backward, building on that momentum until you come upright. Now, if that rock and roll doesn't work for your body, you can roll to the side, utilize the hands, and then press the self upright. Work your way towards a comfortable seated position. I'm just rotating to the camera so you can observe my body a bit better, but you can face any direction that calls to you, any shape you would like. If you desire it, you can always sit atop a prop, as elevation of the hips may provide some additional comfort for the body. And if you've never tried it before, give yourself permission to change it up maybe. And if you invite in the prop and you sit atop it and you're like, yeah, no, guess what? Take it out. From our seated position, we work through gentle cat-cow motion together. Hands come palms down to either thighs or knee space. From our neutral spine, inhale for cow, pull the chest forward, gaze up. Exhale for cat, chin to chest from the spine. Inhale for cow, open to the collarbone. Exhale for cat. Take 3 more on your own. After your 3rd round, make your way back towards center. Remove the prop if you opted to sit atop it. As we now work our way towards supported child's pose. I'm going to rotate my body again so you can observe a bit better. If you've got props, ensure that they are within arm's reach. For child's pose, either knees out wide or closer together, big toes to touch or nearby. Once you land here, If you notice sensations of discomfort through the hips or the ankles, you can invite in a blanket or a towel roll. I will give you a couple options visually so you can kind of play with it on your end. So the first option, you can roll the blanket or your towel. So we've got that larger circular shape. And you can place it underneath the ankles. Then rest the hips back to the heels. So if you notice, by including that towel roll underneath my ankles, it gives some additional support and space between myself and the earth, which can feel rather comfortable for the body if that flat pressure on the tops of the feet just doesn't work for what you need. So there's option one. Another option, if the discomfort or dis-ease comes from the hips to the heels, you can take your towel or blanket again and rolling it, lift the hips, place the towel between the space, then rest the hips back. So if we notice here, by doing that, I've got less pressure on the knees and perhaps more comfort through the hips and the heels because I don't have my body sitting directly atop it. So you can play with those two options, or you can take the more traditional child's pose without utilizing a prop if that feels okay. Then from here, I'm going to bring my upper body down towards the mat. Feel free to utilize a block or a secondary bolster or blanket underneath the forehead, as that may provide some additional comfort to your body. As you can see, I have more space between my chest and the ground, which feels quite nice for me in the moment. Arms come by the sides. Relax the jaws. Peel the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Hand and arm placement is personal preference. You can extend them towards the top of the space or bring arms by the sides. Soften the jaws, peel the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Take 5 more rounds of breath here. After your 5th round of breath, begin to return your upper body towards an upright position. Take out any props you may have utilized. Place them off to the side. And begin to come towards tabletop. For tabletop, wrists stacked under shoulders, knees under hips. In this tabletop position, if we've got discomfort through the knees, as the knees are a more bony prominence within the body, always an option to take your towel or blanket and place it under where the knees would rest. Feels so good. And then return to tabletop. From our neutral spine, we take cat-cow motion. Again, you can tuck or untuck the toes, your choice. Inhale for cow pose, drop the gaze, travels up. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cow. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Return to center as we now set up for our final shape. We are going to be there for an extended period of time to really maximize today's rest and relaxation. It is going to be a supported fish pose. Supported fish pose is a great posture that allows some additional opening for the chest. Additionally, it is a great posture to utilize in place of a final relaxation or Shavasana pose. So if lying all the way down on the ground doesn't work for you, supported fish pose is a great alternate option to take a Shavasana in. So we're going to set ourselves up so we can encapsulate all of that rest, all of that nourishment. Hang tight for just a second. All right. So I've got 2 blocks set up. The one furthest away from my body is going to be at the highest setting, and the one closest to my body is going to be at the lowest setting. Utilize a bolster, and you can place that atop those blocks in a reclined fashion. If you have another bolster or additional blocks or even cushions from a couch or chair, you can bring those in, as placing them underneath the knees when we arrive in this shape may feel quite nice for the body. Again, you can have your eye pillow or washcloth handy, and then a blanket to place over the body. So once we have that bolster set up in that reclined position, I'm going to rotate my body, bring my low spine towards it. And hold on to the prop. Then that allows you to know that it's not going to go anywhere. Recline backwards. Then, if you desire, you can place some additional propping underneath the knees, as that can provide additional comfort to the body. You have a blanket or even a towel. You can unroll that and place that over the body. And lastly, if it calls to you, you can close the eyes and place an eye bag or a washcloth over that space. Hand placement, whatever you'd like. If having the arms off to the sides does not feel great for what you need right now, you can bring them towards the trunk. Having arms away from the body and extended will produce some additional opening through the chest into the axillary region. And always an option to try out multiple locations. You can come here to begin and allow yourself to explore the sensations through the chest, into the neck and throat. Allow the breath to travel in and out of the body at a comfortable pace. If you had opted to extend the arms away from the body for some additional exploration of sensation through the chest, into the armpits, and you notice those sensations change to what you may describe as discomfort or unease, always an option too. You guessed it, move the arms elsewhere. If a few rounds of audible breath call to you, feel free to explore that as you perhaps inhale, then open mouth, exhale. 2 more, inhale, open mouth, exhale. 1 more, inhale, open mouth, exhale. We will spend the next few moments in silence, so do not be alarmed if I am not talking. I am still here holding space with you, just to allow for some additional introspection. Take 5 more unhurried rounds of breath here. Continue to soften. Continue to rest. After your last round of breath, begin to re-invite motion back to the body. Wiggle the fingers and toes. Remove your eye pillow or washcloth if you utilized one, and open and close the eyes several times. Take wrist and ankle circles. Nod the head no from side to side. Remove your towel or blanket if you utilized one. You can take out your props you may have had underneath the lower body. Rotate towards one side. Use the hands. Press yourself upright. We return to our comfortable seated position. Move slowly during these positional changes as well, as fast movements between positions may produce some lightheadedness or dizziness within the body, and that is not our intention. Return to a comfortable seated position. Bring hands to heart center. We take 1 deep cleansing round of breath together. Inhale, sweep it up. Open mouth, exhale, hands to heart center. Again, it has been my pleasure guiding you through practice today, my friends. I am filled with gratitude that you had decided to join me for today's experience. Please feel free to subscribe to the Warriors at Ease YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of the offerings. Additionally, if you feel compelled, perhaps you donate to Warriors at Ease. It is because of donations from individuals like yourself that allow us to continue to provide classes and trainings to individuals around the world. Again, my name is Kelly Campbell, and this was Operation Remote Resilience, a 30-minute restorative practice. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you again.